Hi, I'm Sherrill and welcome to my sewing room. One of the questions I get asked often is, where did you buy that fabric? Or where do you buy your fabric? And you know what my answer is? All over the place. It's wherever I can find it. I live in a really tiny town. There are no quilt fabric shops. We have a Walmart and that's all. And they have a little bit of fabric in there and I'm grateful for that. So what my husband and I did was we went on a quilt fabric buying trip through the state of Utah. We drove up that I-15 and stopped at various quilt shops along the way, and one of my favorites was in Park City, Utah, called Davidene's Quilt Shop. So I'm going to show you what I bought and what I probably am going to make out of it. So let's take a look at a pattern that I bought here. Okay, now I don't know if any of you have ever done row quilting. But row quilting, each row, you repeat the same pattern but in different colors of fabric. So look at this. I thought this was really cute. It comes with instructions. There's no fabric in this, but it'll tell you how much fabric to buy. And I purchased this for about $9. And let me see, what was it called? Hello, my friend. Okay, and so they got patterns like this. So if you're interested in this pattern, the information for Davidene's is appearing at the lower part of your screen, the contact information. Now here is another project that was so unusual. I've heard of this but have never done it, and it's fabric weaving. So and they had a sample of this that they were working on, so I was really drawn to it. And you cut strips, you fold the strips, press them, and you weave them in and out of each other. And it requires that you get a little foam board and some straight pins so it holds the ends. But it gives you complete instructions on how to make these different patterns. Okay, so this little pattern was $12 for this really fun project. I hope I get a chance to try it. Now, a piece of the product that they showed me was something I'd heard of, but I have never seen it, and it's called Soft and Stable, and it's foam, really thin foam. And they showed me a lot of different bags, purses, totes, cosmetic bags that they used this in. And it really helps to keep the bag to where it stands up straight. So I hope I get a chance to use this. I was very interested in it, and this was $13. So there's enough in here to make a couple of small bags or maybe one large tote. Okay, so this is called Soft and Stable. Alrighty, so now I'm going to show you a panel quilt I made, I don't know, 15 years ago. Okay, so, and it's for the fall or autumn, and all I did was buy this panel. It was an apron panel, and I put a border on it, put little tabs up here at the top to hang it, and it was really a quick project to make. So now, when I was in Davidene's, I found another fall piece of fabric that was absolutely gorgeous. So let me show it to you. Okay, so this is called Autumn Album by Color Principle. And when I walked into the store, one of the nice ladies working in there was cutting these out and folding them up to be put on display to sell. And she says, I just love this, but I don't know what to make out of it. And I didn't either, but I had to have it. I love panel fabrics. But after I've had it for a few days, I remembered a video I did for you all about a month or so ago called Attic Window. Do you guys remember this? So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut the panel up and put the attic window border around it with the little tabs on top and turn this into a wall hanging. So what's going to happen is I'm literally going to chop this panel piece up into sections. cut it across this way and make it look like one great big window so that you feel like you're looking out into your garden. Isn't this gorgeous? So I'm very excited about putting this together. When I get it done, I'll show it to you, okay? All right, so now let's move on to this other piece of fabric. Now normally, I usually don't buy fabrics like this, okay? But there was something about it that was very appealing to me, and I think it was the colors. It was these teals and blues all tied in together with these oranges and golds and beige, and it was very, very pretty. And the name of this piece of fabric is called Dan Morris Design. The name is appearing at the bottom of the screen. So Dan Morris Design 2015. And what you can do with this is that you can cut these out and make pot holders out of them if you would like. Or you can just put this into one big giant quilt. But let me show you a sample of a panel quilt I made a while back, okay? So here it is. This part here, including the white, was on a panel, and it had birds and bird houses all over it. So you could cut out this panel quilt up that I was just showing you and stitch different colors of fabric around it. The teals, the beige, the golds. Stitch that around it to make it into a larger block, and then put them into rows and put your sashing in between. So that's a suggestion for it. So let me show you something else that you could use along with this. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this other piece of fabric over, okay, and line them up together. Now this fabric was laying close to this panel fabric here, but look how the colors work with it. So what this looks like is wood that's been painted, and it's old and the paint is chipping off. So it just looks like old painted wood. And this would work really, really well with this. So another thing, remember I said about making pot holders. So here's a pot holder. You could cut one of those out, put it in here in the corner, put a couple of pieces of fabric around it, and turn it into a hanging pot holder. Okay, so that's a suggestion for that. Okay, so this piece here was called Riverwood Collection Quilt Trail by Karen Combs, okay? And like I said, the titles are appearing at the bottom of the screen. Now, I have a lot of friends who live in the western part of the United States, southwest area. Okay, so this fabric is very hard to find around here because everybody scoops it up. And so I try to find this whenever I can. This would make great gifts for some of my friends who live out in the Southwest, and I have quite a few. And I could turn this into a table runner, use it as a border around a quilt. There's a lot you can do with this. And this is called Western Denim and Dirt. Okay. Now, let me show you one that's really, really fun. Okay. I like novelty fabrics. They're a lot of fun to use. Okay. All right. So this is called Girls Night Out by Terry Davidene. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but I'm printing it down at the bottom of the screen. And it's got all these activities that girls would go out and do throughout their day and evening. When I bought it, I wasn't quite sure what I would make out of it, but a suggestion is these would make great gifts for cosmetic bags. So here's a cosmetic bag. You could cut some of this out, either use it on the top or the bottom, then pick one of these solid colors and put it around it. So this would make a nice gift for some of your gal friends, young and older, okay? In the mature set like me, this would make great gifts. So I'm trying to give you ideas for Christmas, birthdays, all of that stuff. Now this one is so cute. Okay, here we go. This is called Tipsy Trailers by Loralie Harrison. And again, when I was first walking in the store, this bolt of this fabric was sitting up on cutting table, and the nice lady, she there again loved it but wasn't quite sure what to do with it. Now, this has the white background. They also offered it with a black background, and I loved it so much. After thinking about it for a few days, I've come up with a great idea on what to use this on, and you will see it in an upcoming video pretty soon, okay? So now, all of the fabrics in Davidene's store were $9.50 a yard, and that is very reasonable for quilting fabric, because often you see it much higher than that. So her prices were very reasonable. There are some other fabrics that were a little more, but most of the quilting fabric was in that price range. Now I'm going to show you a brief little clip of me in Davidene, so take a look-see. This is Davidene right here, and she was kind enough to let her be in the video, because a lot of the shops, the ladies were a little shy, so she was kind enough to do that. And a lot of these quilts in here were made by her and the employees that work here. And she's currently working on this row by row piece right here. Isn't this beautiful? So they just do beautiful work, and Mr. Cameraman's going to scan around the shop to show you all of the beautiful quilts that are hanging on here. Now I'm going to go shopping. Well, I hope you enjoyed that brief little tour of Davidene's, and I'm sorry, Davidene, if I have pronounced your name incorrectly. I'll get used to it. So, now if you want to keep informed on all my future demonstration videos and future quilt buying fabric tours, you've got to click on subscribe. There's one down there in the lower right-hand corner, and then one in the upper left-hand corner. It's a round picture of my face. Click on either one of those. YouTube's going to ask you for your email address. You got to enter that, and once you do that, and the next time I have a new video, which they come out often, YouTube sends you a very brief email with a big button in the center. You click on it, and it takes you directly to my latest video. I'm Sherrill. I'm really glad you came to my sewing room. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time, and don't forget, happy sewing.